Rising tensions with Venezuela. The U.S. Coast Guard seizing yet another oil tanker off the country's coast. New video released by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem shows the operation carried out by an elite Coast Guard tactical team, according to U.S. officials. It's the same type of unit used just 10 days earlier when American forces rappelled from helicopters onto another oil tanker's deck to take control of the ship. Noem announcing the United States will continue to pursue the illicit movement of sanctioned oil that is used to fund narco-terrorism in the region. We will find you and we will stop you. But unlike that first vessel, Saturday's tanker is not on any sanctions list maintained by the U.S., the European Union, the U.K., or the UN, according to Kepler, a data firm that tracks transportation and logistics networks. Days earlier, President Trump threatened to impose what he called a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers traveling to and from Venezuela, a move that could devastate the Venezuelan economy. Oil exports are the lifeblood of President Nicolas Maduro's regime. Trump accusing Maduro of exploiting the country's vast oil fields to enrich himself and his administration. Maduro firing back this week with a blunt message to Americans.
Not blood for oil.
The U.S. has now amassed the largest military presence in the Caribbean in decades, including the world's largest aircraft carrier. The Pentagon also striking 28 alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, killing at least 100 people, without providing any public evidence or identifying those killed. Secretary of State Marco Rubio defending the administration's escalation.
At the end of the day, it is clear that the current status quo with the Venezuelan regime is intolerable for the United States.
And President Trump has been warning for weeks now that land strikes targeting drug traffickers inside Venezuela could be coming soon, saying this week that he's not ruling out war. So lawmakers, they are now demanding transparency, asking what is the real end game here? Is it oil? Is it drugs? Or is it regime change? Whit.
All right, Selena Wang for us. We appreciate it. Let's bring in ABC's chief Washington correspondent, Jonathan Karl, who'll be hosting This Week later on this morning. John, let's pick it up right there because the U.S., as we noted, has seized a second oil tanker in the Caribbean now. Do we have a sense of the Trump administration's end game in all of this?
Well, I think Selena summed up the various rationales quite well. I mean, at times they seem like they're fighting a drug war. They're complaining that Trump has said that Venezuela has stolen American oil. And clearly you heard from Marco Rubio there that the status quo, as he says, is unsatisfactory in Venezuela, is problematic. They seem to want regime change. They seem to want Maduro out. What's interesting here, the second oil tanker now seized by the Coast Guard. The first one was on a sanction list, but as you heard in Selena's report, in this case, that tanker is not on any sanctions list. It was flying under a Panamanian flag. We'll see what the intentions are and if that remains seized and in possession of the United States.
Yeah, this escalation, definitely something to watch there. Another topic I want to ask you about, John, members of Congress going home for the holidays without resolving the health insurance subsidy problem. What does this mean for Americans and where does this political fight go from here?
Well, I'm going to be talking to Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries on This Week and also with Senator Rand Paul on the other side of this issue. Look, the bottom line is those tax credits for about 2 million Americans expire at the end of the year, which means those Americans are going to see their health care premiums skyrocket after January 1st. The House is going to vote in early January, a vote that was forced because a handful of Republicans defied the Republican leadership to force a vote on extending the tax credits for 3 years. That may well pass in the House with those Republican defections, but its fate in the Senate is far from clear. In fact, Senator John Thune, the Republican leader in the Senate, said it has no chance of passing. So we'll see where this goes, if there will be some kind of a compromise. If not, that's a big increase facing millions of Americans and how much they pay for health insurance.
Yeah, huge impact on so many. John Karl for us, as always, thank you so much. And tune into This Week later on this morning. John speaks with House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries and Republican Senator Rand Paul on the battle over affordability and health care, with insurance premiums set to skyrocket for millions of Americans.